I had somebody reach out to me privately through LinkedIn, and I asked him if I could share his question. And that is, I have 3 opportunities, Sarah, and I don't know which one to pick. I've really been paying attention to my greatness and honoring my greatness that you keep telling me to do, but now I'm stuck because I have 3 big choices and I have a huge decision to make. What do I do? He could do his PhD. He could take a management advancement position that has been offered to him, or he could switch into a new industry because there's a startup that has tried to recruit him away, and he's super excited about all 3 of these options. So what do you do when you have so much greatness to offer and so many options? I know it's a terrible problem to have, but really he's serious because A, he's worried about FOMO, fear of missing out. The other thing is he's concerned that, in fact, that if he doesn't do more than one of these things, then long-term his career will not thrive. In other words, he's thinking, maybe I need to cram in doing my PhD with one of these job opportunities, but he also knows that he's at a high risk of burnout. And the last thing you want to do is burn out by the time you even get to the end of that exciting opportunity or journey. But the benefit of having all of these opportunities is A, of course, you stand tall in your greatness, and clearly there's an attraction factor to that where he has all of these opportunities. The second piece, of course, is that you're able to be very intentional about how you want to live your life. And yes, right now this gentleman, and perhaps you, are facing the challenges of having lots of choices, but having more choices is better than, of course, feeling stuck, right? And so how do you make this decision? I want to share with you the advice I gave him. Number 1, I said, what truly are your interests, talents, passions, and virtues? And how does that uniquely position you to take one of these opportunities? In other words, of all of the things you've done in your life and how you've come to know yourself, which one fits your talents, passions, and virtues the most? In other words, your greatness. Number 2, what big, juicy problem do you know the role that you could fit into, or the industry that you could be in, or the educational opportunities that you could pursue? How would it solve the biggest problem in the world? And how do you already know that problem needs to be solved and you're super, super pumped about solving it? Number 3, what is the cost of not solving that problem for somebody? In other words, if you didn't go down this path, you couldn't potentially have the most career opportunity or monetizable business if he chooses to go into business for himself. Because sometimes we need to think at the really long-term vision of this, that not only could I address a problem for somebody or an industry, but also how could he potentially turn this into something monetizable where he doesn't have to work for somebody else if he doesn't want to? The other piece that I shared with him is that one of the clarity factors that could come to him is if he starts to write. And I'm not sure if you do this, where you blog or you have podcasts, or perhaps even that you put articles up on LinkedIn. But I suggested to him, why don't you pick the juiciest thing that you love to talk about and start writing about it and share with the world and see what the uptake is. It can help to clarify, even if he picks one of those routes and he's super clear, like let's say doing his PhD, you still have lots of choices to make once you're in that program. What do you do for your thesis? What courses do you take? Who do you work with? If he chooses to do the startup, he's going to have all kinds of opportunities to do different roles. Which roles are going to satisfy him the most? So start producing content, see what the engagement is, and it's amazing how once you start to write about something, how it gives you clarity about just how much you truly are invested and enjoy that. And last thing I said is, why don't you broaden your contacts through LinkedIn in these areas? And so in that industry, in that startup industry, broaden your contacts there. See if you like those conversations with people. That potentially new business that you are getting into, make contact and friends with those friends or connections through LinkedIn with the people in that company. See if you vibe with them. And same with your PhD, go and visit it. Like, even if it's an expense, physically get on campus and experience it. Because, you know, the relationships that you have, whether you're a super relationship oriented person or not, the relationships that you have will be incredibly influential. Because, you know, this gentleman is talking about the next 5 to 10 years of his life in these various organizations or schooling programs. You gotta like the people that you're spending your time with, and you gotta be sure that they're gonna value and bring out the best in you. So if you too are facing a similar challenge of you have many opportunities, or perhaps you're even toying between a few, I hope some of those helped you to clarify where you're going to be able to find your greatness, and that decisions actually are a good thing. You don't have to be paralyzed by all of the choices ahead of you. My name's Sarah McVanel. Please join me again next week where we shift gears and we talk about the talent shortage and what we're doing about it.